Hey everybody, this is Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. This is now the third time tonight that I have tried to get this started. So I'm hoping it works this time. I went ahead and I went off my internet or off my Wi-Fi, and I'm trying just my data plan on my phone, and I'm seeing, sometimes that makes a difference. So let's see if this works this time. Let's see. Okay. It isn't freezing on me yet. So, good. That's a good sign. So now I'm just kind of waiting for a few people to come in. So something I wanted to make sure to share with you guys, and some of you may have already heard this. Good. Welcome, Robin. Welcome, Judy. It does, well, now it's freezing up again on my screen. Oh, good. It's not freezing on your end. That's good. I just went off my Wi-Fi and decided to try it on my carrier's plan, my data plan, and that seems to have made a difference. Sometimes it does. So now I'm just trying to get it up on my screen without it freezing on my end, which for some reason it does this all the time when I'm with you guys. And it freezes with my face in really weird looks. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome, Marsha. Okay, you guys are doing good. I'm glad to hear that. Now I just got to figure out how to get it showing up on my big screen here, because I want to be able to see all of your comments and not have my face frozen in a weird way. I don't know why my face freezes. Okay, so now I have shared this information. This is the third time now, but it's important. So I don't know what you guys missed when my video was being sketchy a little bit ago, so I want to make sure to cover it again. I'm finally having my shoulder surgery next Thursday, so I will be on live next Wednesday like normal, and then after that I don't know what it's going to look like for a little while. My surgeon said it would be about 6 weeks before I could use a keyboard. So I imagine, stamping is going to be a ways out. But I do tend to be one that recovers much more quickly than anticipated. But it's been a while since I've had any kind of surgery or anything. And so, as we get older, things take longer. And so I don't know how that's going to be affected. So just bear with me over the next few weeks. Watch my Facebook page, because I'll give updates as far as what's going on, when you can expect me to return live. I think this weekend I'm going to try to film a couple of classes so that I can upload them to the website, so that for a couple weeks anyway, you'd at least have a few card making classes, even if they aren't live. So again, I don't quite know what this is all going to look like yet, so bear with me while we go through it all together, and then just watch my Facebook page for updates. So, okay, let's see. It looks like Marsha's back. Good. Robin, good. Oh, Robin said she was going to tell me to reboot my router. You know what? This is so embarrassing. I wouldn't even know how to do that. My son lives with me. He knows how to do that kind of thing, but he's in the shower, and I'm not really, he's 23, and so I'm not entirely certain how appreciative he would be of me barging in on him in the shower, asking him to to fix my router. What do you think? No? Anyways, so, okay. Thank you, Kathy. I do appreciate that. It's funny. I'm pretty good about not pushing myself beyond my limits, but boy, I get antsy really fast because I don't sit still well. But, we'll play it by ear. We're going to see how it goes. I have good faith in this surgeon, and, we'll see what happens. So anyway, we've kind of lost a lot of time between my having to keep restarting my video, and I want to give you guys a couple of housekeeping updates, and then we're going to go get into our cards. This week we're focused on punches, and I've used the punches in 3 different ways on the 3 different cards we're making, just to give you some ideas to think about. So if you're looking for some punch ideas, or ways to use your punches, tonight's a good night to be here. So let's see, trying to get this video up and running. Gosh, oh yay, it's not freezing now, so I can't handle it. It's fine as long as I can see your guys' comments coming in. But if my screen is frozen and I'm making a really yucky face, I can't handle that. And I have to fix it because I can't just keep looking at myself with this weird look on my, frozen look on my face. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the camera turned around. Give me just a minute here. Okay. I'm kind of excited about this week's cards. One of the cards is using a Designer Series paper that was new in the current mini catalog, and I was so excited to use it when I bought it, and I've had it the entire time the catalog's been out, and I haven't used it because it's so beautiful. I just wasn't sure what to do with it. So I'm really excited now to finally figure out what I want to do with it. Okay, so anyway, just a reminder about our fitting florets, or florets, I don't know how you say it, promotion that we have going on. This is a beautiful bundle that is going to be in our January mini catalog, but it is available now. You can purchase it early, and the cool thing about purchasing it early is that there are a few additional products that are available between now and whenever they run out. So once they're gone, but they're available now. So there's kind of an incentive to purchase it now if you're thinking about it and not waiting. Even though it'll come out in the catalog in January, these additional items will not. So you can get the dies and the stamps. Let me bring this up a little closer to the screen so you can see it a little better, I think. But the dies and the stamps, it's a beautiful set. It's got some fun frames in it, but available until they're gone. We've got these little gold spirally embellishments. There's a sentiment set right here of stamps with Christmas sentiments, and then there's this gorgeous paper. And I wish I had the actual paper on hand to show you, because this picture, I think it looks very washed out in this picture, but it really is vibrant and beautiful, and I love it. And I'm sad that it's not actually going to be in the catalog, because I could just see doing a lot of stuff with it. So if you like this paper, you definitely want to get it before it runs out. And I think it will run out soon because everybody just loves it. And then just a little sneak peek to remind you what's coming up. Celebration comes up in January. It's January and February, and I can't show you the inside of this yet, but there are some pretty amazing free gifts in here from Stampin' Up. The way Celebration works, if you have not experienced a celebration with us before, there's all these free gifts in this little brochure that you can choose from when you spend $50 or $100, and you can get an unlimited number of them. So for example, if you spend $100, you could get 2 of the $50 gifts, or you could get 1. And like I said, the sky's the limit. You could make a big enough purchase to get everything in the catalog, in the brochure, for free, if that's what you choose to do. No judgment. So anyway, this is coming up in January, and I can't wait to start being able to show you some of the fun stuff in there. And then just a reminder, the mini catalog comes out in January. In 2023, we're kind of changing up the schedule of the catalogs. They're trying something a little different. So instead of it being January through June, it's going to be January through April. And then a new one will come out, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember the exact date. I think there's an online special then in May, and then in June another one comes out. I can't remember quite how it works, but there's going to be 3 mini catalogs coming out throughout the year instead of 2. So they don't last as long, but there's more of them. And it looks like Teresa just joined us. Welcome, Teresa. So anyway, again, I can't show you the inside of the catalog until it goes live, but there's some great stuff in here, and I'm so excited to get to start playing with it. And you may see me using some of it next month to give you guys some sneak peeks. Okay, so I noticed my camera is just a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to try to straighten it out because that will bug me. And now I'm crooked the other direction. I just need to learn to let this kind of stuff go, right? Okay, so our first card tonight, let me get the stuff we're going to use. We're going to use the Lovely and Lasting stamp set. Now, you guys have seen me use this set before, and I have mentioned that when I first got it, I wasn't totally sure what I thought of it. I thought, oh, it's okay. But I loved the punch that went with it. You can buy it as a bundle where you get this punch, and it perfectly punches out this little frame. And so that's actually what sold me on this bundle. But the more I use it, the more I love it. Okay, Kathy just corrected me and said there's only 2 mini catalogs and 3 online exclusives. So thank you, Kathy, for correcting me on that. I will get something out to you guys on my page to kind of clarify everything as it gets closer to the new year, so you guys know what to expect in 2023. But anyway, okay, so this stamp set, the more I use it, the more I love it. I love the various fonts. It's just another thing I really like about it is these little tiny stamps right here. They are great at just like the bottom of a like the inside of your card, just that little something to put there. And it's a great set. I really recommend it. I love it. And then I'm also going to be using my layering circles dies. You know I love my layering circles and my stylish shapes. We're using them both tonight. But for this card, we're using the layering circles. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's the card we're going to make. Oh, and the Designer Series paper that I'm using, this is our Design a Daydream Designer Series paper that you can earn it's a Stampin' Reward that you can earn for the size of your order. So when you place an order of $150 or more, you qualify to be able to purchase this paper for like $3. But you can also earn it for free as the size of your order goes up. Lots of fun paper with it. But this is the card, and this one is actually a gift card holder. So this is kind of a fun little thing that you can do to add to your cards, especially this time of year where gift cards are so, we're all giving, not we're all giving gift cards, but it does seem like they're a very common gift this time of year. And so I'm going to show you how you can add that to your card to make it really simple. So let's go ahead and get started. Start with our basic card base. Basic card base is just 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So let's get this folded and then we'll set it out of the way. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do our weekly drawing. So for those of you who are new, let me explain what the drawing is. I love it when people participate in the conversation. Like I said, this is my social outlet. So it's fun for me when you guys participate, whether you just say hello, tell me where you're from, or ask questions, give suggestions, talk to one another even. That just makes it community and makes it fun. So when you leave any kind of a comment, your name goes into a drawing. I go in a little bit, like an hour or so before next week's video. And I do a drawing. I pull up all the names of everybody who commented, and your name goes into a drawing, and whoever's name is drawn wins a prize that I announce on the next week on that video. And it does not matter if you watched the live or if you're watching a replay, as long as you commented, your name will go into the drawing. So that's just a little bit of incentive for you to participate in the conversation. Karen just joined us. Welcome, Karen. So this week's prize for the drawing is a sampler pack of Designer Series paper. This was our Stampin' Rewards Designer Series paper in last year's annual catalog, and it's got so many fun prints. One side is a fun print of some sort. They're not all florals here. The other is black and white prints. So there's a lot you can do with this pack. And there are 48 sheets in here, 48 6x6 sheets. This week's winner is Susan Goodman. So congratulations, Susan. I have your address actually, so I will get this out in the mail to you. So again, congratulations. Okay, so let's get going back on our card here. I'll set the card base out of the way. We'll get started on our envelope. For the envelope, I just take a strip. It's 2.5 inches by 6 inches. And my liquid glue. Finally gave up on my bottle from last week. Remember, for those of you who were here last week, remember my bottle? I kept saying, for weeks now, I keep saying it's getting empty and it's going to give up pretty soon. And I opened up a new bottle last week just because it was kind of being problematic. But I knew there was still some more glue in there, so I continued to use it after the video because I could be a little more patient with it. But it did finally give up the ghost, and you know, its life ended. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. Now remember, if you are using paper that is directional, meaning it goes a certain direction, pay attention when you lay it down on your envelope. You want to make sure it's right side up. I can't tell you how many times I've rushed through, I've laid it down, only to realize I laid it down upside down. So now I'm just going to trim this off. So tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Does anybody have any really exciting plans? I don't know what we're doing. It's just me and my son. We might go out to my parents' house. It'll be my mom and my dad and my grandma. And we might go out there. I've been kind of having a tough time lately. Just being around people. Just some stuff going on that I'm not going to bore you with the details. But I don't know if I'm up to being around people quite yet. So I'm on the fence about going to my mom's tomorrow. And of course, she's very understanding about it. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so let's do the inside of the card first. I've got a piece of basic white, and I just have this little tiny strip that matches my envelope, and it matches what we're going to put on the front of the card. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on it. I like to decorate the insides of my cards. Another demonstrator named Kelly Atchison. She frequently says something that I really like the spirit of it, and so I kind of sort of live by it as well. And she says the party shouldn't stop when you open the card. And I really, really like that because she's so right. So I like to decorate the inside of my card, even if it's something as simple as just a little strip like this. You know, sometimes I'll stamp something. Sometimes I'll just put a little strip of designer series paper, but just something that carries the front of the card into the inside of the card. I'm going to trim off the extra here, just like so. And then, see, it looks like I got a little bit of glue over here. So I'm just going to take my glue eraser. This is not a Stampin' Up! Product. This is just something that I bought on Amazon for a couple of bucks. They're not expensive. Just look up adhesive eraser. And it's really nice because when you do get glue in spots you don't want it, it cleans it up really nicely. Even if it dries and you go back to it later, you know, while it's still kind of gummy, right? And you go back to it, it just erases it right off. It's really nice. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for the moment. Make sure that's all I did there. Yep. And now I have a little rectangle. What I did is I just took a little strip of my designer series paper. I want to show you how I made this. Now, you don't have to do this next step, but it does make it easier to get the gift card in and out. So I took the smallest circle that I have here in my layering circles, and I put it about halfway down. So, you know, it's only that semicircle there. And I ran it through my embossing machine so that it cut out that half circle, that little moon there. And then, see, let me show you. See, so it just, for some reason, it makes it easier to grab the card to get it in and out. Again, if you don't have the circles, you don't have to do that, but it does make it a little easier to slide the card in and out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tear and tape to put this in place on the inside of the card. And the reason for that is because it does put a little extra pressure on the piece of designer series paper when you're pulling that card in and out. And so I want to use an extra strong adhesive just to make sure that it doesn't pull that designer series paper off of the card when the gift card is being pulled in and out. So I use my tear and tape, and it makes it nice and quick and easy. When you use tear and tape, it's always a good idea to take your bone folder and go over it first. It just really pushes that adhesive in place on the paper. And then I take your pick tool and I just slide it in there to be able to pull the release tape off. And now I'm just going to put it on the inside of my card. Kind of line it up so that my margins are about the same on the three sides of it. On the left, the right, and the bottom. And then I just put it down. It is kind of nice if you have the gift card already, go ahead and put it in there, because what it does is it kind of, I don't know if it stretches out the paper or what it does, but it just makes it so it's not quite so tight. But if you don't, that's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and get this piece into our card as well. We'll line that up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the front. This one is pretty quick and easy, actually. So I have a piece of our Blackberry Bliss and then our Designer Series paper. These are two colors I never in a million years would think to put together. But in this Designer Series pack, they're colors that Stampin' Up! Has already put together. And I love them. They look great together. I never would have thought of it, though. So that's one nice thing about going with a company like Stampin' Up! They think up these kind of things. You know, they have artists who it's their job to think up stuff like this. And then they, you know, unveil it to us and we're like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, so now I have that strip done. Now I have a little bit of my gold trim. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around a few times. So again, I'm going to take my tear and tape to just tape it in place. Okay, and wrap it around 3 times. And then tape it in place again. And of course it just undid everything I just did, but that's okay. It's easy to redo it, right? Okay. Maybe cut that a little too long. I don't want that piece to stick out, so I'll trim that off. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put this onto my card. And I'm going to leave just a little tiny bit of the edge on why can't I think of the name of the color? Curry. Something curry. Okay, now that's going to bug me, so I have to look it up. Hang on. Please hold. Crushed curry. There we go. Okay. So now we've got that part done. Now I'm going to take, I just have a couple of scraps here. I have a scrap of my Blackberry Bliss and a scrap of white. I'm going to take my crushed curry ink and I'm going to stamp that little frame. There we go. I love this frame. It's just the perfect size and you can do a lot with it. And all of the sentiments in this stamp set fit in the frame perfectly. So now I'm going to take my sentiment. This time I'm going with Thinking of You and my Blackberry Bliss ink. Hey Susan, welcome. You were our winner this week and I have your address, so I will mail your prize to you. Okay, got that in there. Clean off my stamp. You know, I have the funniest story to tell you guys about Lucy. I was having a really hard time housebreaking her. Like, she knew to do her business outside, but she didn't understand not to do it inside. So if we took her out, she always knew what to do when she went out there, but she was doing it inside as well. And you know, since we moved into our new house, she's had one accident, and that's it. It was like, I don't know what changed, but now, maybe it's because my desk is very close to the sliding glass door where I let her out, so I see her wanting to go out easier or something. I really don't know. But anyway, that's my exciting story. Okay, so now I'm going to punch out the frame in the Blackberry Bliss, and then I'm going to line up my stamped one, and I'm going to punch it out as well. Do this, trying to make my margins kind of the same everywhere. Okay, see how that punches it out perfectly, right? Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, and you know, I can't really make a border with it because it's the exact same size, right? So what I do is I cut it in half. And you can't do this necessarily with all the punches because it doesn't quite work, but it does with ones that have like relatively flat sides. Now what I do is I take my liquid glue again, and I'm going to put a line of glue here on the bottom. Oops, get the little glue booger out. A little line of glue along the bottom, and then along the top of this one. Ooh, that was a big blob of glue there. And then I'm going to line it up so that my Blackberry Bliss one is just slightly higher than the frame itself. See, just like that. So it gives kind of a shadow. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom one. I'm going to do a little bit of adhesive liquid glue here on the straight edge that I cut, and a little bit along the outer edge, and I'm going to line it up where there's just a little bit extra along the top there. Well, in this case, it's actually the bottom. Just like that. And see, now it's created a little bit of a mat around it. It doesn't have a lot on the sides, but it lines up okay that it doesn't necessarily look like I cut it. You can't really tell that. And I really like to do that with my punches to give it just a little extra something. So now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of my foam adhesive. Let's see here. Do you hear all that banging around? That's Lucy with one of her toys. She's so funny. Okay. And now we're going to just mount this right onto the card. Try doing it right side up. There we go. And then I have my festive pearls, and I'm going to put a few of the gold ones on here. There we go. And now our card is done. Card number 1 is in the books. What do you guys think of this one? Nice and simple, right? And you could create several like this if you, you know, maybe you're going to a family thing where you've gotten gift cards for everybody. Hey, Nell, welcome. See who else has joined us. John has joined us. Welcome, John. Yes, Robin, that's Lucy's pig. I'm so glad that you recognize it's her pig and not my stomach. I'm not a big fan of squeaky toys because I get overstimulated really easily. So I like that one because it's not a super annoying squeak, but it can be embarrassing sometimes if people think it's me making that noise. Okay, so the next card we're going to make, you guys ready for number 2? For this one, we're going to use Stamp Set. This came out last year in our winter catalog. The Penguin Place penguins, and this is in our annual catalog again this year, and you can purchase it as a bundle. I believe you can still do the bundle but you can also purchase the penguin punch, which is fun because you can make the penguins without stamping anything by putting these pieces together and the little feet, or you can stamp it and then punch it out. So there's a lot you can do with this punch in making your penguins in various ways. So the card, oh, and then tonight we're also going to use the Stylish Shapes dies. So let's move some stuff out of the way. Set that aside so we can use it. Okay. And here's the card we're going to make with our little penguin. What do you think, you guys? Isn't he adorable? And then the inside of our card matches the outside with those little colorful stripes. So let's get going on this one. Start with our card base, standard card base where it's 8.5 by 5.5. Welcome, Talina. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so set that aside. Let's do our envelope first. Move all my little extra pieces out of the way. Now I just have a piece of scrap paper that I put under the flap of my envelope so I don't get ink everywhere else. Let's get some of these stamps out that we're going to be using for this card. This one uses a lot of stamps because there's a lot of little body parts that we're going to be using on our penguin. Okay, that might be it. Oh, no, that's not it. Look at that. Look at all those stamps we're using for this card. Okay, so we're going to start with our little snowflakes, and I'm going to be using, let me move some stuff out of the way here. I'm going to be using our Balmy Blue ink. Okay, getting a couple of comments from people who love the penguins. They are cute little guys. Okay, so now I'm just going to stamp some snowflakes around on my envelope. Takes a minute to do this, but I have a little blank spot right there. Oh, I got one in there. Yay me. Okay. Okay, so now our envelope is done. Clean off my stamp. Okay. Now, let's see here. Set my envelope aside. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, I have this little circle that I used my Stylish Shapes to cut the circle. And we're going to take, again, with the Balmy Blue. And this is like a little hillside, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe a little horizon or something. And I just walked my hand through the ink. And I'm just going to go like this. So that makes the, oh, I don't like how that did that, but oh well. Okay, so clean off my stamp. And now I'm going to take those snowflakes again, and I'm going to put them above my little ground there. There. Set that aside for the moment, and I'm going to put away my Balmy Blue ink, and I'm going to get out a few other colors. Got my black, and I have my Calypso Coral, and I also have Mango Melody for his little feet and his beak, and I have a piece of scrap paper here. Now you want to make sure what direction to stamp him so that when you put your paper in, it cuts it, punches it out in the right direction. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to stamp it on here with his head down like that. So I'm going to start with my Memento ink. Turn my stamp around so I do it the right direction. There we go. Now for the rest of stamping it, I can turn in the right direction. Turn him upright so that I can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp his little feet and his little beak with the Mango Melody. So there's this little triangle. Another fun thing about this set, because you see there's a profile one of him and then a forward facing one, and it actually comes with 2 beaks depending on which one you use, so that's kind of nice. So line up his little beak here. There we go. And now his little feet. Look at those little feet. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, now I'm also going to stamp on my scrap paper a little hat and a little scarf. Oh yeah, John, I can't tell you. I have to be sure to put my ink pads away because I tend to lay down in them, and I'm just a disaster when it comes to ink pads. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my little hat. I'm going to stamp my little scarf. There we go. Put my ink pad away before I lay down in it, which I told you I do tend to do. I'm going to leave it there though, because we're going to be using it again in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to take my punch. And I'm going to line him up. There we go. Cut out a few extra little pieces. See how this piece, I'll show you how this fits together. Say that I were to have punched out this shape, this big one, like in black for the outside of the penguin, and then this goes on there. You can't see it too well. It doesn't look quite right on there, but say I did it in black, and then you punch out this one in white, and it goes right there. So you can see now how it looks like a penguin by piecing the 2 pieces together. Okay, so now our little penguin, he is done, but he's naked, and we don't want that because it's a little chilly outside for naked penguins. So I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to fussy cut these pieces. These pieces are really small, so for those of you who hate fussy cutting, this isn't too bad because they're little pieces, and like the scarf is pretty much just straight lines, so it's not terrible. Okay. On the subject of getting ink on your hands, you know what I use, you guys? On Amazon, you can buy, do you guys remember that lava soap? Like, I don't even know if they sell it in the grocery store anymore. It's a pumice-based soap bar, but it's got moisturizers in it. And that's what I use for getting ink off my hands. It works like a charm. Okay. I can see I'm going to need to trim this down a little bit after I finish cutting it, but that's not a big deal to do. I don't like that. I don't want that much white sticking out, so I'll just trim it down just a little bit. Kind of crooked, and that bothers me. Okay, so I've got that little piece done, Now I'm going to cut out the little hat. Just go around it. Remember, move your paper, not your scissors. And as you just witnessed, you can always go back and trim some if you need to. There we go. I just want to round that edge up just a little bit. Okay, so no more naked penguins. We'll get him all dressed. However, somehow I think if I was naked outside in the snow and all I had on was a hat and a scarf, I think I'd still be a little cold, but you know. Okay, a little bit of glue. We'll put his little scarf on. And then we'll put his little hat on. And I chose to put his little hat at a bit of an angle. Just like that. Oopsie. I don't think I put the glue down quite low enough. There we go. Look at that little guy. And then we have our circle that we stamped. Now, before I glue him down, I want to do, let me show you, a little bit of a shadow underneath him. That way it doesn't look like he's just floating in midair. So for that, I took my light smoky slate. I'm going to figure out kind of where I'm going to put him. I'm probably going to put him right about here because I want the hat to be the center. That's about where I want him. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of the gray there. That gives me my shadow. Oh, that lid doesn't work. Imagine that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue him down. Right there over that gray that I just colored. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and set that aside while we get our card ready. I have a piece of basic white for the inside and a piece of basic white for the front. And let's see, I have these strips that I cut out. Now, the strips in the three colors, one size is 1/2 inch wide, the other one is 1/4 inch wide. And let me show you, all I'm going to do is let the dog in. Hang on. Okay. Oh, Talina's got to leave us. Well, thanks for joining us while you could, Talina. You can catch the rest on the replay if you choose. I'm just going to line this up about halfway down my card, just like so. Then I'm going to do Calypso Coral. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with the names of colors tonight. And then my Balmy Blue. And put that on. I kind of like doing this kind of thing to decorate the card because I think it looks really sharp, but it's super quick and easy to do. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside with these little strips that I cut. Someone has the zoomies. She runs back and forth, jumps on the couch, squeaks the hog. Yeah. Okay. Now let's do the inside one and then we'll trim them all down at the same time. So I've got this one. And by the way, this color here, this is our Sahara Sand. I think I forgot to mention that. So I'm going to just put that strip right there. Little tip for doing this is just make your strips longer than what you need, because then you can just lay them down quick and easy and you don't have to worry about whether or not they fit, because you can always trim them down, exactly what we're going to do. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my snips and I'm going to snip, just cutting off the extra there right along the edge of the white designer series paper, try white cardstock. We're going to do the same on the front, just trim the extra off. There we go. It's really easy to do, and like I said, I think it looks really sharp. Now the front one here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mount it onto this piece of Calypso Coral to give myself a little bit of a mat. There we go. I'm going to put this one on the inside of the card. Just like that. And now I'm going to mount this onto my card, but I'm going to use my foam adhesive. So I'm using a sheet. I like to use about a half of a sheet, and then I cut it in thirds so that I can spread it out. Just makes it go a little further, but there's still enough there that my card won't sag. Okay. Okay. So now we'll peel this off. Looks like that whole piece didn't come off. There we go. And we're just going to put this on the card. Try to get my margins where I want them. Be careful because this adhesive, I've told you before, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it. Once it's down, it's pretty much down. You can work with it and move it, but it doesn't like to move. So if you don't have to move it, you are better off. Oh, and you know what I should have done before I mounted it? That's going to be a problem. This next step that I totally forgot about. So what we're going to do is we have the sentiment. It says, be cool, be chill, be merry. And I wanted to do it in the two different colors there like that. So what I did is I got my Post-it tape. And the first thing I did was cover up this middle one that says, be chill. Find where it is so that I tear it off at just the right spot. Might even use my snips on this part. There we go. Looks like I didn't quite get all of the B on there. I'm going to have to do it again because I cut it just a little too short. Okay, so you can see there's like little dots in between the little phrases, and I want to make sure to get those because I want those to be in my first color. But I don't want to get any part of that middle one. You know what I'll do? I'll just go like this. There we go. There we go. Okay, so what I've done is I put tape over that. So when I ink up my stamp, that's covered up and that part is not going to get ink on it. So now I'm just going to take my tweezers, because I don't want to get my fingers all yucky, and take this off. And now I'm going to stamp it right side up for one. Okay. There we go. So you can see it did the be cool and the be merry, but it's got the blank in the middle. Clean off my stamp really good. Okay. And now I'm going to take my Balmy Blue. Just kind kind of stamping a little bit there without any ink so that I dry off my stamp. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tape over the dots and the outside words, the ones that we just stamped. Because now we're going to stamp the middle one. So, get my stamp all inky. Take off the Post-it tape and end up with ink all over my fingers. Anyway, despite my best efforts. Oh my goodness, did you guys see what I just did? I ran my finger over it by accident and got the ink off the stamp. Okay, let's try this again. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now, I made my strips a little bit longer and that makes it a little easier to take them off. Now, I'm going to line this up so that it fits right in between those dots. And the nice thing about these stamps is you can see through them. And what I did, I'm going to have to put my head in the frame here, but I'm lining it up so that my stamped words, are right over, or the stamp itself is right over the words I stamped before, because then I know everything will line up the way I want it to. See? Look at me making things more complicated than they need to be. It's what I do. Okay. Put a few things away here, just because I know they'll make a mess if I don't. There we go. Okay. Now, for the last part, we've got our little circle that we stamped that we put our penguin on. And I'm going to put a little bit of my foam adhesive on him too. See, I think I want a little bit more than that. Okay, that looks like that'll work. Yeah, like that. Okay. Okay. Pull off the release tape and then just put him on here. I just centered him in the middle of my stripes there. And there we go. Ta-da! Card number 2 is done. Got the inside there. And we're good. What'd you guys think of him? Isn't he cute? Oh, thank you for sharing, Marsha. Okay, so when you guys share, that really does help me out a lot. You just never know who in your feed it might catch their interest and get me some new people looking at what I do. So I really appreciate it. Susan says she just started using the foam adhesive sheets and she really likes them. Yeah, they're a little more expensive, so it's kind of hard to go, yeah, I'm going to bite the bullet, spend that money. But boy, once you do, you never go back. Okay, ready for card number 3? Card number 3, this is the one I was talking about where I said I had this beautiful paper that I loved and I just didn't know how to use it, and I'm going to show you. I'm using the Artistically Inked bundle. It's got the stamps and the dies. I use this a lot. I think I used this die last week, actually. But anyway, I love this set. When this set first came out, it was my favorite for a long time. And I still love it. And the punch we're going to use is this one. I really like this because it's nice and big to fit stuff on it. But it's got a little bit of shape to it. So it's just not a plain old boring square. I like it a lot. Let me show you the card we're going to make. Okay, so this card, it's a fun fold. And the paper that we're using is called Brushstroke. You know, just seeing it on camera doesn't quite do it justice, but you can see how it's got a shimmer, kind of a sheen to it. It reminds me a lot of raw silk. It's gorgeous. And in it you get a piece that's Night of Navy, a piece that's the Soft Succulent, and then a piece that is Blushing Bride. And it's gorgeous. And let me show you how we did this one. First, we'll start with, let's go ahead and do the envelope. Get that out of the way. So, come on, little envelope. This one, I'm just doing the basic envelope flap that I do a lot, where I just glue the Designer Series paper on. So, find my glue. There it is. And put a little bit around the edge of the flap of the envelope. Get it as close to the edge as you can, but be careful because you don't want the glue to all squish out when you put your paper down. But you want it close enough to the edges that stuff isn't going to get stuck under those edges as it goes through the mail and tear it off. Okay. I just can't get over this paper. I just love it. It's so beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to open this up and trim off the extra. Okay, there we go. There's our envelope. Beautiful, beautiful. Now for the card base, like I said, this is a bit of a fun fold. I started with the basic card base size, 8.5 by 5.5, and I did score it in the middle at 4 1/4. Then I scored it again at 2 1/8, and then I scored it again at, hold on, 13 16ths, right there. So I made this so that I could lay it down for you to show you. So if you want to take a screen print or whatever, so you can see the measurements, this is where the score lines, okay? Then I have strips of Designer Series paper and basic cardstock. Let's get out these pieces here. I'm going to flip it over and it tells you the size. This tells you the sizes that I cut. So for this strip in the basic, it is 9/16 by 5 1/4. And then I just made a piece that's slightly smaller in the Designer Series paper that's going to go on there just like that. Okay. Then, and actually, I take that back. Hold that thought. I'm missing a piece. This one is the one that's 9/16 by 5 1/4. Okay. Then I have the one that's 1 1/16 by 5 1/4 with a smaller piece that's going to go on like that. Then I have one that's 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. It's going to go on like that. And then finally, another one that is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, so it's in the different colors. And I marked on here color A and color B. So color A in my case are the blue ones. So they're going to go in this order. And then the two that are the green right there are color B. So if you wanted to take a screen print of that, I'll set that down so you can do that. Give you just a moment to get a screen print if that's what you want to do. Okay, now let's go ahead and first we're going to fold the card. To my bone folder. Now this piece folds back this direction. And then this one folds forward that direction. See, so it's like this, like a little accordion basically. And now we're just going to glue all of our pieces together and put them on our card. So a little bit of glue. put it on my cardstock. Uh-oh. Looks like this is just a tad too wide, so I just need to trim it down a slight little bit. So hold on just a sec. Okay, let's try that again. That's better. And by using my liquid glue, well, in this case, it's not. Usually what you can do is you can wiggle it around a little bit to make sure everything's lined up like it should. But because I had to take that time to trim down my piece, the glue's already getting tacky, so it's not sliding the way it normally would slide around. There we go. Just a little fuzzy here that I'm going to cut off. It's there because I was pulling it up and it just pulled up some of the cardstock. So there we go. Just making sure it's on there good. Okay, so let's put all these together first and then we'll glue them onto our card. Get off. Get off. There we go. Do the next one. This card actually comes together pretty quickly. Ooh, there's a little bit of glue on that one, isn't there? Okay. Okay. And last but not least, we got this skinny little guy. Line it up on there. Okay, so now we're just going to glue these onto our card base. Start with this one. And again, I'm using my liquid glue for this just because it allows me to move it around a little bit if I need to. So line this up so that my margins are about the same on the three sides, the top, the bottom, and the right. Now all the other pieces, as we put them on, we're going to want to try to line them up so that they're the same height as the other pieces. So let's go with this one. There we go. And see how the top and the bottom line up with the blue piece? That's what we're going for here. Now we're going to put this one on. Okay, and finally, this one. Now I'm putting it in here. I want to make sure my top and my bottom line up, but I also want to make sure that my margin on the left side there is about the same as it is on the top and the bottom. There we go. Okay, so now the card itself is made. Now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and stamp the inside. I guess I didn't show you what I did with the inside of this card. So I made a belly band. We're going to make that in a moment. And on the inside, I've got the happy birthday crossing over the fold of the card. So now the center of my card has actually moved. You know, normally you'd have this whole section over here, but now it's on both sides. That's kind of different than what we normally do. So I get my sentiment which is in here somewhere. Did I put it away by accident? Oh, there it is. It's right on the top of the pile. And I'm stamping it with my Night of Navy. The two inks we're going to use are the Soft Succulent and the Night of Navy. Okay, now I wanted to line this up so that my space between my words fits right on the fold there. There we go. Cleaning off my stamp. Okay, now, so we have our card base done. Now we're going to work on the belly band. So let's go ahead and set this aside. I have, oh, there it is. I couldn't find my little baggie with all the bits and pieces. And I need to, what I did is I pre-stamped and die cut these just to save us a little time because I was afraid that we were going to go long tonight with this card taking a little longer. So I have my little flowers there. I love this stamp set. I mentioned this earlier, but I mean, look at that detail on those flowers. Isn't that gorgeous? I just, oh, gorgeous. I love it. And then I have my little leaves. And then what I did is I got smart and put my ink pad away so I don't lay down in it. I cut out I used my punch to punch out this tag, but this particular paper is a lot flimsier than most of our cardstock is, and I was worried that it just might not be strong enough to support this big cluster of flowers. So I also punched one out of regular cardstock in the same color so that I could just glue it right on top, so that I still have the beauty of this paper, but I have the strength and weight of my cardstock. So let's go ahead and put this on. So that is something, that's the little trick that I have to tell you with this one, is that if you are wanting to use something a little more fun for your punch, but you need the support or the weight, just punch another one out of cardstock and mount it right behind it. It doesn't show, but it does give you that support that you need. Okay, so now I have my 3 flowers, and I'm just gonna put them on here. I like to lay mine down, figure out about how I like it, and then I just do it again. Now in this case, let's see. So about like that. So that what I liked about this was that my punch, those little fun little edges stuck out a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is just start gluing away. So and actually it would be good to do this on my silicone mat, because then I don't have to worry about it sticking to my work surface. So it's let's go about like that. And then I added my leaves. Okay, hold on just a moment here. Come on, Lucy, get out of there. Okay. Pull my leaves on. And I don't just automatically know what will look good for my leaves. I played with this a lot before I figured out exactly where I wanted them. And that's what you can do too. When you're doing a dry run where you're just placing everything, that allows you to kind of look at it and decide what you like, what you don't like, and just place things before you glue them. Okay, so now I have my tag. So now I'm going to look at it and go, okay, how do I want this placed on the tag? And that looks good because it has a little bit of the DSP kind of showing through at the top there and at the bottom. So I like that. There we go. There, I like that. My fingertips are a little gluey, so now they're sticking to everything. Put a little glue under there. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, hey, Cheryl. I just noticed that you joined us. Lisa joined us. Thank you. She said she hasn't seen this fold before and she likes it. So, good. I'm glad I was able to show you something you haven't seen before. So now let's make our belly band. This is a strip that it is an inch wide. It's 9.5 inches long. Now I want my design piece to kind of be a little bit off center here. It doesn't just go right in the center of the card. It's off just a little bit. I want to, oh, this guy is already glued pretty tight there. I was going to push it back a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. So what I'm doing is instead of just having these two ends meet in the middle, I want them to kind of meet right about here. Keep in mind it's going to be covered up where they meet, but you want to make sure you're putting that meeting together somewhere where it will be covered up. So that looks good to me like that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take my bone folder, make these nice sharp edges. Okay, now again, I'm going to use my tear and tape. You want to use a very strong adhesive for your belly band because again, as it slides off and on the card a lot, it could tear your cardstock or, tear it open, I mean. So if you have a good strong adhesive, you don't have to worry about that. So I have one little strip there. And I put another little strip on this side, like so. Take your pick tool. If you are looking for a stocking stuffer type gift for another stamper or crafter, I really recommend the Take Your Pick tool. I think it's $10. And you guys see me, I use mine all the time. It is my #1 favorite tool. Okay, so now I'm just going to line this up like so. You want it to be nice and tight so that your card, closes. Like that's not very tight, but you don't want it so tight that it won't slide off easily. So I think I might have to, I might be able to adjust it a little bit here. Let's see if it'll let me pull it open. Tear and tape is pretty strong, so it doesn't really like to move once you've put it in place. Okay. Give that to me, please. Okay, so my dog just came out with a whole bunch of rubber bands. No idea where she got them. No idea. Okay, so let's make sure this works. It's going to be a little tight. There we go. Okay, so I've got my belly band. Ooh. It's folding my card up. I did it a little too tight, I think. I need more tape because it's not as strong since I opened it up. So let's retape. Belly bands are very easy to do. I just, I make things complicated. Okay. This is kind of the witching hour for Lucy. She just had her dinner, so she has lots of energy. So there's all sorts of trouble she can get into. So of course she likes to do it while my attention is diverted away from her. Just like a kid. Okay. Let's try this again. Get that down nice and tight, but not too tight. There we go. It's still kind of coming up a little. That's okay. We're going to live with it. Now, I have my tag that I'm just going to put right here, and see how I'm putting it over that seam so it doesn't even show. So let's see. Maybe put a little more tear and tape on there to keep it in place. Okay, hold on. I have to see what she's into. Lucy, what are you into? Crazy dog. Okay. This catalog, Marcia, this DSP is in the June to December catalog. So it's the one that is about to retire. So if this is something that you are liking, you're going to want to get it before the end of December. So there we go. Got that all lined up there. Ta-da! There's our card with our belly band and our sentiment on the inside that we've now redirected the center of our card. So that one was easy to make. I just, got a little crazy with the belly band. Lucy. Crazy dog. Okay, so let's clean up our mess here, and we'll just kind of take a last look at everything we made tonight. If you enjoyed what you saw tonight, I would love it if you'd give me some hearts or thumbs up. That's the kind of thing that tells the YouTube and the Facebook algorithms that this is something that other people might enjoy, and so they put it out there a little more, so that helps me a lot. Of course, sharing the video also helps me quite a bit, so I love it when you do that for me as well. If you are interested in purchasing any of the supplies that you saw me use tonight, you can do so at my website. I'd love to earn your business. It's heathersides.stampinup.net. And you can email me with any questions or suggestions that you have at stamphappenings@gmail.com. Or you can contact me right here on Facebook. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So let's take a peek at what we made tonight. So we've got this gorgeous card with this. I mean, the DSP does all the work in terms of making this gorgeous. I love this card. And then we have our penguin pal here. Be cool, be chill, be merry. And then we have thinking of you. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed what we did. I hope you enjoyed our time together. I know I do. Thank you, Teresa. I hope you guys all have wonderful Thanksgivings as well. I just saw someone say hi to Tracy. I didn't see you come in, so hi, Tracy. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. I will be on next Wednesday live before my surgery on Thursday. And then after that, just keep watching my Facebook page for updates as far as what I'm doing with pre-recorded videos or going live as soon as I, can use that shoulder again. So I hope you, again, have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye-bye.